be an optimist. Don't be a realist. Don't be a pessimist. That is no value in either one of those. Be an optimist, but consider the fact that it could go horribly wrong. This doesn't sound like an optimist, what I'm about to tell you. You sit down and ask yourself, what is the worst case scenario? I didn't say the most likely scenario. Ask yourself, what is the worst case scenario? In business, that usually looks like bankruptcy, okay? It's not necessarily likely, but it's always a possibility. You have to consider the worst case scenario and then ask yourself, what would it look like if that happened?
And would I be okay with that?
Yeah. Yeah. Would I be okay with that? And then say, okay, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not risking that. But look at that worst case scenario. And normally, I think we've talked about this before. Normally, worst case scenario ain't really all that bad.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as bad as you think, provided you're still healthy, provided you still have your freedom,
Right.
Then, so you look at the worst case scenario and ask yourself, April said, would I be okay if that happened? Worst case scenario, you start over. I mean, we talked about, I think Brady pointed out that 83% of Americans live paycheck
to paycheck.
Paycheck to paycheck. Worst case scenario, you start over like 83% of the population.
Right.
That ain't too bad. I know a bunch of.
Well, unfortunately, part of that 83% may lose their job this week, and they don't have any. I mean, there's no security in that anyway.
That's exactly right. So, to all you optimists out there, yes, the glass is half full, but you better consider what if things go wrong, and then you can make adjustments and hedge yourself against the worst case scenario.
Right.
Worst case scenario, like people were telling me, you don't need to hire that many people. Blah, blah. Look, worst case scenario, we lock the doors and it's, we go home. It's been a good ride. So we're going to keep pushing, keep growing, keep investing back into the business. And the longer you do that, the more security you have, because 2.5 years ago, there was a lot of uncertainty with where our business was going.
Right.
I had some certainty, you had less, but I had some fear. You may have had more.
Oh, I'm sure I had more than you.
Okay.
Because my risk tolerance is much lower than yours.
Yep. I didn't have anything to lose though.
True.
But there was, with each month, there came a little more certainty. And once you're certain, then you become even more effective. And then once you have a storehouse of certainty and a track record of success, then you got, like we talked about the power of compounding interest yesterday. Now you've got success on top of success and excitement.